Hey wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, where today we dive deeper into one of the most gut-wrenching fictional scenarios ever imagined in the world of professional wrestling: the tragic passing of Triple H's wife and two daughters in a devastating car accident, a storyline that is not rooted in reality but designed to explore the impact such an unimaginable event would have not only on Triple H himself but on the entire WWE universe, because the shockwaves of such a loss would reverberate far beyond the company, beyond the locker rooms, and into the hearts of millions of fans across the globe who have watched Triple H transform from a cocky rising star into one of the most respected legends in the industry, a man who conquered titles, built empires, and eventually took on the responsibility of steering WWE's creative direction into the modern era. In this fictional world, the news would break suddenly, leaving fans in stunned silence, media outlets scrambling to confirm details, and fellow wrestlers dropping everything to show support, because Triple H, a man whose legacy is cemented in wrestling history, would suddenly be stripped down to his most human vulnerability, facing grief so profound that the titles he once held, the battles he once fought, and the accolades he once earned would pale in comparison to the pain of losing his entire immediate family. The idea of Triple H standing in front of the WWE Universe not as the Game, not as the King of Kings, but as a broken man who has lost his wife and daughters would be almost too heartbreaking to imagine, yet it forces us to reflect on just how fragile life is and how quickly everything can change in a single moment. The impact of this fictional tragedy would extend immediately into the inner workings of WWE itself, because Triple H's absence from his role as Chief Content Officer would create a vacuum unlike anything seen before in modern WWE, as he has been the driving force behind creative innovation, new storylines, and the balance between honoring the past and pushing the company into the future. Without his guiding hand, questions would swirl within the company about leadership, vision, and stability, and while many superstars would rally together in unity to honor his loss, others might see the moment as an opportunity to push themselves into positions of influence, sparking rivalries, boardroom disputes, and perhaps even storylines where fiction mirrors reality as characters challenge the structure he once controlled. Imagine the locker room filled with uncertainty, with some performers using their promos to deliver heartfelt tributes while others lean into darker narratives about seizing power in the absence of leadership, creating a tension between grief and ambition that could shape the company's direction for months if not years. Beyond the boardrooms and booking meetings, the fictional loss of Triple H's family would transform how fans and wrestlers view him, not just as an executive but as a human being, because for decades fans have seen him as a larger-than-life figure, a ruthless competitor, an unstoppable force, and a master strategist. Yet in this story they would be confronted with the reality that behind every legend lies a man with a family, with love, with bonds that go deeper than championships and legacy. The outpouring of support from fans would be overwhelming, with tributes flooding arenas, chants echoing through crowds, and memorial segments on WWE programming celebrating not only his career but his resilience in the face of tragedy. Rival companies like AEW, NJPW, and Impact would no doubt send public condolences, showing that in moments of heartbreak the wrestling world becomes one family, bound not by competition but by compassion. Social media would be ablaze with hashtags in support of Triple H. Wrestlers past and present would share stories of his generosity, his leadership, and his friendship, and fans would unite in remembering that while storylines may divide, grief and humanity bring everyone together. At the same time, this fictional narrative would also shine a light on the critical subject of mental health within professional wrestling, because the pressure of performing, creating, and leading at the highest level already takes a heavy toll, and when compounded with personal tragedy it can become unbearable. Triple H might choose to step away indefinitely, disappearing from the spotlight to heal in private, leaving WWE to operate without his influence, or he might immerse himself in his work as a form of coping, channeling his pain into creating something meaningful for fans and wrestlers alike, though either choice would be heavy with consequence. His grief would force the wrestling industry to confront once again how essential it is to provide support systems for its talent and executives, ensuring that no one has to carry the weight of trauma alone. And it would remind fans that beyond the spectacle and storytelling there are real lives, real struggles, and real emotions at stake. The very thought of a figure as strong and commanding as Triple H brought so low by tragedy would resonate deeply, sparking conversations not only about his contributions but about the importance of balance, empathy, and care in a world that often demands unyielding toughness. The fictional passing of Triple H's family would also shift the storytelling fabric of WWE in profound ways, because while it would begin as a story of personal loss, its ripple effects would open the door for new feuds, alliances, and transformations within the roster, as characters step up to honor him, to fill the void of his absence, or in some cases to exploit the chaos for their own gain. Younger stars might rise in tribute to him, veterans might return to stabilize the locker room, and storylines might organically evolve around themes of family, loyalty, betrayal, and resilience, reflecting in fiction the emotions that fans and wrestlers would be feeling in reality. The duality of grief and opportunity, sorrow and ambition, would create a unique atmosphere unlike anything WWE has ever seen, reminding everyone that the company has always been about larger-than-life stories but is also shaped by the deeply human experiences of those who create them. Ultimately, this fictional scenario serves as both a thought experiment and a sobering reminder of life's fragility, because while Triple H remains alive and well in reality, the imagined loss of his family highlights how even the strongest figures can be reduced to their most vulnerable selves in the blink of an eye, and it underscores the power of community, compassion, and unity in the face of devastation. The WWE Universe would undoubtedly rally behind him. Fans would never allow him to walk alone, and his contributions to wrestling would be celebrated with even greater reverence, as people recognize that behind the legend is a man who has given everything to the industry he loves. Whether he would return to WWE after time away or find a different path forward, the truth is that such a tragedy would leave a permanent scar, reshaping him, reshaping WWE, and reshaping the way fans connect to the stories they see. And while this is only fiction, it asks the question every wrestling fan would wrestle with: how would WWE survive without the heart, the vision, and the leadership of Triple H, and how would a man who has defined eras cope with losing the people who defined his life outside the ring? It is an unthinkable tragedy, but it is also a reminder that in wrestling, as in life, it is not only the victories that define us but how we endure the losses that threaten to break us.